Hey everybody, it's your old pal Steve, owner of RUNMOORE, this fabulous brick and mortar running shop located in Westminster, Maryland. Today we're going to be talking about the brand new Diadora Vigore 3, which is coming out early of 2025. You know, if you are not familiar with Diadora, or like maybe you know from them from soccer and such, they've made a big push back into run specialty the last couple of years. We've been carrying them in our store for the last like 5 years or so, and with quite honestly, just like a varying degree of success. But the reason why we've continued to stick with the brand is like we like the shoe a lot, and I feel like it's a brand that hasn't been getting as much shine as perhaps they should have been. So we're gonna try to pull back the curtain a little bit on a shoe that you might not bump into all that often, but when you do, you know, now you at least have some information on it. But first, let's get into some of the nitty-gritty specs on the new Diadora Vigore 3. This is a $175 max cushion, max stability shoe from Diadora. It's a heavy boy. On the men's side, in my 11.5, it's a 13.7 ounce shoe. It has a 29 millimeter down to 28 millimeter stack height, so that's 11 millimeter drop. The upper is a air mesh nylon. Their midsole is their proprietary Anima with their Blue Shield stability technology in there. And the outsole is made from a Duratec 5000 compound. Okay, so what does all that mean? This is sort of I hate to say bouncy because it's really not. It's really not necessarily a bouncy shoe. It's more of a plush shoe, and that's an Italian brand, and while this isn't made in their Italian factory, all of the heritage from this brand is sort of that premium, high-end Italian vibe. This brand has been making shoes in Italy since 1947, and it's still where all of their products are thought and designed, and they really have been honing this idea of making these really durable, high-performance, high-fashion shoes. And I think for a lot of people, it doesn't quite necessarily look like what you're gonna find in a traditional running shoe. A lot of times it almost feels sort of fashiony when you look at it. And that is one of the things that people like when they come in here, is it gets caught, you know, it kind of grabs your eye. And not just on the Vigore 3, but like in my opinion, the best looking shoe on our wall right now is the Cellula. That is their max cushion neutral shoe. And we're gonna visit this shoe in a moment and talk about some of the comparisons between the two. But on the Vigore, it's nice, it's pretty, and it has this nice plush feel to it. You know, as you heard me say a minute ago, it is sort of a heavy boy. 13.7 ounces on a runner is sort of a chunky guy. Part of the reason why this shoe does weigh that much though, is it's got a very durable rubber to it. I will say, you know, it's actually, the outsole on this shoe is super nice and durable. It's much thicker than you're gonna find on a lot of these guys. And you know, I'm gonna pull back the curtain a minute here. We had talked about maybe letting Diadora in the shop go down the way by the wayside and bringing in a couple other brands in the store. But an interesting thing happened. People that were in the Vigore 2 have started coming back in looking for the 3. And we realized one of the reasons why we just hadn't seen them in a while is they're super durable. I mean, that is a pride of the manufacturer, is that they want these shoes to last. And you can tell, like, they put a lot of thought into how the whole outsole is designed, and the rubber compound that they use is gonna take a beating. And so, like, if you're gonna go out there and you're doing speed work on the track, this might not be your #1 choice. But if you're looking for something that you can do some long miles in, or probably more like what we see here, people that are using this for just all-day wear, this is a great option for it. This is a stability shoe, but you know, it's not, and I'm trying not to say this in a terribly negative way, it's not as stable as some of the other shoes that we have on our wall. So if you're somebody who's like truly flat-footed, you might not get enough oomph for it with this shoe. But one of the places that we've had great success with this is somebody who's more of an outside walker, somebody who really needs some lateral support to it. This is a great supination shoe. If you're somebody who's like a really hard overpronator, you might need to add an insert to it. You might want to throw a super feet in there just to give a pinch more arch support. But if you're somebody who's more like a high arch person with some supination, this is a great option for you. And it does have a higher drop. We've seen so many shoes in the marketplace on the stability families that are getting lower and lower and lower, and they're coming in that, you know, 4, 5, 6, 8 millimeter drop. So this is nice to still have a true high drop shoe. And I've been dealing with like Achilles injury this past couple months. It's been just a total dagger in my running. I've been doing nothing but wearing really high drop shoes. So if you're somebody who's dealing with like Achilles tendonitis, you're getting over a ruptured Achilles, all that kind of crap, it's nice to have a shoe that already has a high drop to it. And if you just need something that's maybe not quite a brick under your foot, you don't want like a Brooks Beast that is just like a clunker, but you want something that still has some plush feel to it, this is a good shoe for that option. One of the best things they did though was they made it in a wide option. I think that's been another thing that has been really challenging for the brand and for us here at RUNMOORE, is that we want to pull this shoe more than we can, but it has always run narrow, it's always run short. And I still feel like this could run a little bit longer. Like I'm an 11 and a half, I got an 11 and a half, but I kind of wish I had a 12. So keep that in mind when you're sizing. Like, it might not be a bad idea to go ahead and size up a half, but if you're somebody who needs the width, now you have that option. And before, like, especially for people that we wanted to pull this shoe for that needed some extra stability, it just wasn't a viable option. Like they were losing at the fitting station before we even got a chance to fit people in it. Because when we're in the back and we're pulling people, we say, all right, this person's got a big fat foot. I'm not even gonna bother with the Vigore, even though it might be a great option and check a ton of the boxes on their needs. It's just not worthwhile because it's never gonna fit their foot. But now we have that option, and here at the shop, we carry it in both standard and wide, and I will tell you, like, majority of our sales have been in the wide. It's not that this runs narrow compared to some other models out there, but for a lot of people that need some stability, they just naturally seem to have a wider foot. So this has been nice to have that option to it. And it also gives a much better, closer play to what our favorite shoe here is from Diadora, which is the Cellula. And I gotta tell you, like, it is just a stunning shoe. It's just, I mean, I gotta be honest, it's hard to hold them. They're so nice. It's hard to beat the look and feel of the Cellula. This was one of our favorite shoes from last year, and it's nice to have that yin and yang now. If you're somebody who's neutral, the Cellula is a great option. It's beautiful, it has a lower drop, it's so smooth. Like, truly, when I walk around in a Diadora shoe, I have a great pair of Volos that I love. I wish this brand, like, would take off a little bit more, because there's a lot of great possibilities there. Their Gara Carbon last year, their carbon plated shoe, was like my favorite shoe I ran in last year. It's a brand that if you see them out and about in the wild, like, it's worthwhile to pop on. I just wish some of the fits would be a little bit better. Like, I wish I didn't have to tell you to size up or make sure you go wide. Like, I think once they kind of work out some of those things, it's gonna be a brand that's gonna be on the rise. So don't be afraid if you see them out in the wild, or if you're just interested to pick one up online, whether from me or from Diadora. Like, it's definitely a worthwhile option, and especially when you can know that you can eliminate things like durability or like shoddy craftsmanship. Like, that's not really a concern here. Just think about making sure that the width is right. And again, if you're somebody who's really flat-footed, if you're somebody who's really dealing with plantar fasciitis, it might still need a little bit more oomph to it. It's, to me, like, it kind of hugs the line between a neutral and a stable boy. Obviously, they list it as a stable boy, but to me, it's almost there. It's almost there. And I think I'd like to see the Vigore 4 a little bit longer and a little more stable, and maybe just a pinch lighter. But overall, like, again, if you're somebody who's just looking for an all-day comfort shoe, if you're not like somebody who's go out there trying to, you know, break a world record, but you just need something nice and soft underfoot and provide some support, and definitely somebody who needs some lateral support, it's a great option to check out. We're gonna have a link on our website if you wanted to pick up this bad boy, and if you enter promo code RUNMOORE, we'll ship it out for free and you'll save 10% on your order. And if you wanted to stop by the shop and try it on, hey, we're out here in Westminster, Maryland. You should come on by, say hello. I'll be here and you can try on this shoe. Thanks so much for watching our channel. Hey, and if you haven't already, do me a favor, like and subscribe. It's a fun, easy, free way to support the shop. Thank you so much. Happy running, happy walking, stay safe, and we'll see you around town. Thanks so much for watching. Click the videos on the screen to learn more about some related content.